call it order meeting or something. Approve previous meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Any additions or deletions to the previous minutes or any comments? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Seeing none, that passes unanimously. We have any customer comments on agenda items? Anybody here?
No, sir.
Comment? Dr. Leffler says no. So we'll move into a recognition. We received a letter of appreciation from Elizabethton Electric in recognition of our support during the storm restoration efforts of Hurricane Helene. Alan Potter and Tullahoma Utilities, thanks for your kindness. Thanks so much for your support in providing aid in the restoration of our power during Hurricane Helene. It is greatly appreciated and gave us such wonderful encouragement during such a tragic time. Many thanks, Elizabeth Electric. So it's nice to get a recognition for that. I know there was a few years ago that we had an event and people came in and helped us, so we always step up. We've been very good about providing help when help is needed. I think we've gone to Florida, we've gone to places in Tennessee. Where else have we gone? Just about anywhere.
Alabama,
Mississippi. So we help our fellow brothers out in times of need. So now we'll go into specific agenda action items. First item is consider approval of moving the 2025 TUA board meeting dates. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second?
We have a proper motion, proper second. Anybody have any questions or comments about moving these dates? One's for the TVPPA legislative rally, and one conflicts with Thanksgiving and Christmas, and we've been doing this as long as I've been on the board, so there's usually no problem when we move these meetings. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Seeing none, that item passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda is consider approval of revisions to TUA policies P013, P01-014, P-015, and P-008A on the first reading. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Potter, can you go over this a little bit for us?
Yes, sir. So the policy committee met on, I believe it was November 6th, and I had suggested some modifications to these four policies. Sick leave policy P013, at the recommendation of Mr. Toma, we're recommending changing the 3 days of allowable sick leave for the care of a family member to 5 days. We're removing the requirement that the family member must reside in the same household, and we're also removing specific requirements for health-related appointments. Currently, if you're requesting 4 or more hours off for sick leave for a doctor's visit, you've got to give quite a bit of notification and documentation. So we're requesting removing that. That's P013, the sick leave policy. Any questions about that one before we go to the next policy?
I think that's a good change.
Yes, that is good.
Policy P014 is our bereavement policy. We're recommending revising the term family member to someone with whom the employee has a significant relationship, which will allow for broader application. We're removing the defined times off based on specific family relationships. The thought behind this is we're not determining the amount of grieving time you need depending upon the relationship or what relative it is, because I'm not sure we should be choosing that. Any questions about the bereavement policy?
I do. I'm gonna make a statement that's gonna go into stand for anytime that we look at policies, procedures, well, here at policies. Generic statement is that, you know, policies, when you have an organization that has several people, policies, I like that we have some room. I think sometimes policies can be so strict it's hard to follow. But I think that if we're establishing policies, then policies by and large should be things that you don't have subjective judgment. No one has to use subjective judgment to make a determination. I think this is good, but my question is going to be under the definition of significant relationship. So does an employee have to substantiate that, or do you just verbally say, hey, this someone was important to me?
Well, I think it's the second, and
Okay.
we're trusting them not to abuse the policy.
Okay. Okay.
The current policy is, it's defined.
Yeah,
You
right.
know, father, daughter, mother,
Right.
uncle. But the ideal is, if you have a great friend
Right,
that is
right.
not a blood relative, that doesn't mean you don't need time off to grieve for that.
Totally in agreement.
Yeah.
I'm asking here in front of this board though, because if that's the way we want to go, and I think it's the way to go, is that the consistency will be that if a person says that we're going to take his word for it, or her word, and that the supervisor and the manager across the organization, I wouldn't want Alan to say, hey JT, I know that's your best friend, and you say it's fine. So if we write this policy like that, then I think what has to come after this is that all management has to know that for any employee, if they say they have the situation where it's not a family member, it's just someone that was close to them, that their word is enough. That's all I'm asking. Is that what we're doing?
I think that's a good point. I think the kicker here is if it starts being abused,
We can revisit
we
the
can
policy.
always revisit.
Right.
We're hoping that it won't. We hope it's a real
Right.
giving to the employees
Right.
and trusting them, but I do.
No, I love
agree
it.
with you.
I think it's good.
If it
I
gets
think,
abused,
yeah.
it needs to be knocked
Right.
out.
Or I would say, I don't think it should be knocked out on abuse by 3 employees. We got 85 employees. So I think we have to handle that on an employee by employee basis. I think it's good, but I just wanted to ask that question.
I would say similar to our sick leave policy, we don't always, this is just an example, we don't always require a doctor's note.
Right,
But
right.
for when we feel team members are abusing the sick leave policy, we do have the authority to require a doctor's
Right.
note if we so choose.
Right. So following with that, and because the other situation why policies I think have to be succinct is because of lawsuits. Because a lot of lawsuits are are brought about because the policies are loose. And then the organization makes differences between people, which they should, but then you got to defend it. So that's all.
Good point.
So that's why I'm asking this. So I think as we look at it, that's fine. And I do think it's a good change, but I just wanted to bring that point.
Well, when we bring it back on second reading, do we tweak the verbiage, or are we okay where we are?
No, I'm fine. I just,
And we discussed in the policy committee what term we should use for
yeah,
someone that's not a relative.
yeah,
It's just tough, right? A relative is a relative. It's cut and dry.
yeah. No, I think that the important thing is that everyone across the organization treats it the same. All management personnel treats it the same. So, all right, thanks.
All right.
2 more. The vacation policy, currently when we get to this time of year, we either have several team members requesting off at the same time or selling back what they can. And currently, if you meet certain criteria, you can sell back 1/2 of what you accrue in a year. What I'm recommending is that we change it to allow them to sell back down to 200 hours if they have used 40 consecutive hours in that calendar year. So we're really incentivizing people to take time off and take a break from here for a solid week straight, and then allowing them to sell back really as much as they would like, down to 200. And we won't have these people rushing to take off in November, December.
Right.
Makes sense.
And then the residency requirements, I'm basically recommending 3 categories. They're defined and detailed in here. And this policy has had much thought and discussion into it, but basically if you're a standby employee, if you're on a standby rotation, nothing changes. You're required to live within the 20-minute time frame. If we consider you critical, but you're not on the standby rotation, it's a 35-minute driving distance from our headquarters. And if you're none of the above, it's a 55-minute driving distance to our service center. And then the fourth is if you're the president, you live in the city limits.
Right.
This is a major change for
It is.
the company.
And this, I'm fine with it also, but I still have the same type of questions. So, how was 20 minutes defined? 20 minutes during normal drive time being?
So it's historically been Google Maps, and then if Google Maps says 21 minutes, and the employee or the candidate wants to contest, we'll get in our vehicle, drive the speed limit, and see how long to get there.
Okay, so I would just suggest with all these times that, as defined, that we put per Google Maps, if that's what we're basing that time on. Because if not, we don't really have a standard benchmark to judge the driving time by.
Wasn't there another,
It was, let's see,
there was another program that you had sent me?
well, yeah, there's a
Weave or wave.
there's a map. It's a very neat map, but you can type in our address, type 35 minutes,
Okay.
and it shows you everywhere you can get.
Okay.
So it's not a circle, right?
Right.
Because it depends on which
Yeah.
direction you're headed. We'll define that.
Yeah, just put, how that's determined, because if not, then, yeah.
Now, how many people will be affected by this? Do we already know that there's going to be some people?
Yes.
They'll have to move bar or what?
No, there will be no one that has to move.
This is
There will
legal.
be people that could move
Yeah.
further out.
Yeah.
No one will have to move closer to our service center.
Good.
Yeah, that's the only comment I have.
Yeah, it seems to me this is really addressing one of those things at our strategic planning meetings that was brought
That's
up
right.
on the survey. It also is flexibility is just a new part of the workforce. And, being able to be more flexible, and if there's no reason not to, I think being able to be more flexible is going to enable us to have more options as far as workforce.
What it is, I'm aware, the 8 years I've been here, I'm aware that there have been a couple of times that I'm aware of, where some really good qualified people that we could have employed in positions that were needed, didn't meet the requirement, and it really hurt us not to be able to get them. So, I think it's good.
This contributes to our culture too.
Right.
I think that's
We have
terribly important.
several employees that I could list that are not on the standby rotation that want to live where they can buy a farm, farmland or acreage. So they will take advantage of this, I would say, very soon.
Very good.
All right, so we've gone over the approval revisions of P 13, 14, 15, and 008A on the first reading. We've discussed it, and proper motion and second. Any other discussion or need to vote? All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Seeing none, that passes on first reading. Next item is consider approval purchase of a service body pickup with crane. Mr. Allen, tell us all about this.
Yep, this is a budgeted item, and we're using the state contract, which is always the most economical price. So I recommend approving this pickup truck in the price of $82,553.07.
Okay,
Can I get a motion on somebody would want to do this, or we already done that?
now, we need a motion.
I need, somebody give me a motion, please.
I'll make a motion. I recommend the board approve the purchase of this vehicle from Wilson County Motors, total price of $82,553.07.
Can I get a second,
I'll
please?
second.
Any of the board members have discussion about, I had one thing, how long is this out? If we order it?
Do we know the lead time, Scott?
Lead time on it?
I really don't know, yeah.
Is it still
I think the
pushed out like
chassis-
some of the other stuff was?
I think the chassis itself is pretty readily available. It's how long it takes to get the body, service body, and the crane and everything. It shouldn't be too awful long, I wouldn't think.
Yeah, these trucks they do not have the lead time of like a truck. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Seeing none, that passes unanimously. Next item is consider recommendation of the President's Evaluation Committee. Who headed that committee?
I did.
Mr. Stanton, tell us about your meeting and what y'all come up with, please.
Mr. Chairman, Ms. Patty Dean and I met on November the 6th, and we took into account all the evaluations that the board members submitted, except for Mr. Tomer, who hasn't been here long enough to provide a review of the evaluation. After thorough deliberation, the committee is pleased to recommend that the board approve a 10% pay increase for President Potter, effective December 1. Mr. Potter's performance has been outstanding. He has shown strong leadership skills. He's created and implemented a strategic plan with the help of the board. He provides clear and concise reports, recently established new policies meeting the needs of employees and improving our culture. So we're quite excited. Even with this raise, he would still be below the average for the Tennessee Valley of CEOs who have electrical energy power.
Ms. Patty, would you like to add anything?
I was really pleased with the review, the paperwork that you submitted, that Mr. Potter submitted. The comments from the vice presidents were just really supportive of the amazing work that Alan has done. You took a big leap, and I think, this board, kind of took a big leap, and we just looked at, you've nailed it, and we're really happy with the evidence presented, the survey, the new survey, of employees. You've been a really busy person. Just keeping us going in an amazing direction. So implementing the strategic plan, your communications have really been excellent, and we were pleased to discuss and suggest that 10% raise, which gets to about almost the 50th percentile. So we thought that was a good step for 6 months.
Any other comments?
I have a question, and this has nothing to do with the evaluation. My relationship with Alan, I've been impressed. Is this a normal procedure to make adjustments in 6 months, or was it part of his contract?
No, it's not.
not.
It's normally annual.
This was an agreement.
This was part of, right, I'm sorry.
This is just you all.
Right.
Yes.
That was one of the things, we went through the process of looking at who we thought would be best to step in. The board, we really deliberated on making a choice. And one of the things that we thought was fair to the board and to Alan was this process of 6 months, taking a look, because the salary that we hired him at it could be looked at two different ways. It could be looked at it was low, it could be looked at it was high because, you know, but we thought that it was best to do this, to help the board assess how well Alan was doing, and also to Alan. So if he performed up to the board's expectation, and in my mind, he's way over accomplished that. That would also give him an opportunity, give him an opportunity to get a salary at this point in time, mid-year, that we felt he deserved.
Yeah, I looked at the different scales.
Right.
As best as I can measure. Again, it's not a reflection on the individual,
Right.
it's just a policy.
But normally it's an annual
Yeah,
review.
yeah, that's what I would have thought.
In the performance evaluation, every button issue was either good or excellent rating of Mr. Potter.
Anything else? We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Seeing none, that passes unanimously as well.
I don't think we had a motion second.
We did?
We did not?
All right. I would like somebody to make a motion to consider this raise for the president.
I'll second.
Who's got the motion? You seconded.
Oh, do we?
You do the motion.
And I'll second.
Who made the motion?
Yes, I second.
I thought somebody
Everybody make the motion.
Mike made the motion, Kay did second. All in favor
Well, you
now?
can't second it.
No, I can't, that's true. I can't second it too.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Seeing none, that passes. Thank you, Shannon, for keeping me on my toes.
And the parliamentarian on his toes, too.
We finished specific agenda items, now we'll go into committee reports. Policy Committee, we've already gone over the policy. I would like to thank the Policy Committee for the time that they've spent. You know, I've been the head of the Policy Committee and served on the Policy Committee. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's a little bit more challenging. So, but thank you for bringing those things up. You know, occasionally we need to visit our policies to make sure we're doing right practices. So, thank you. If y'all, any Policy Committee members want to have any other comments?
I would just like to second that. I want to thank you all. I think all the changes that were made, these policies were needed.
Yeah.
And thanks much. Thanks much. So,
All right, Rate Committee, did y'all meet? I don't think you did. I'll go to the President's Evaluation Committee, and I would like to thank y'all for getting all that stuff. I think Mr. Stanton was the chairman of that, and Patty was the vice.
It was a co-chair.
Co-chair. So, but you got to get everybody's stuff together and then meet and come up with a good recommendation. I appreciate your hard work. So, get my computer back up here. Now we'll get into departmental reports.
Do you want to go first?
No, you go ahead.
All right, so for the Marketing and Strategic Initiatives Department, first I'll just touch on, we gave away the energy saving trees today. So that was through a partnership with the Arbor Day Foundation. We had about 80 people sign up. We typically have about 100 trees to give away, so that's pretty on par with what we've seen previous years. And again, that's just a great benefit to our community, supporting environmental stewardship and promoting energy conservation. So Monty is the brains behind that. He did a lot of great work to successfully pull off that program again. We did wrap up football season broadcasting. It was another great broadcasting season. Chris did a lot of after hours and late nights to make sure that we had a great program for folks, both for home and away games. And now we're transitioning into looking at basketball season. So we're actively preparing for those game broadcasts, which the first one will start next Monday. And then looking into spring season as well, we'll be offering broadcasting and commentary for baseball. And then for the first time ever this year, we will be offering commentary and broadcasting for a few softball games. So I'm excited about that as well. More on some light tube programming. We did bring back our cooking show, which was I would say backed by popular demand. People really seem to love that program, and Kelly puts a lot of work into pulling that off, so we're excited to offer that back up on our programming again. And then also, we will be streaming the Chambers Wobble Gobble 5K event both on YouTube and on LightTube this year. So if you are not downtown cheering on all the TUA runners and walkers this Saturday, you can catch that again on YouTube or on LightTube. There was a group of us, well, a couple of us that were able to attend the APPA Customer Connections Conference and the TVPPA Customer Experience Conference. There's a lot of focus and discussion on innovation in customer engagement, and so we were able to glean a lot of tips on creative ways to engage and communicate with our customers. And then again, looking forward to the holiday season, we're preparing to decorate our tree for the Trees of Christmas event at South Jackson, so make sure you stop by and see that. We've got, I think, what's going to be a pretty exciting and creative display this year, and then the Christmas parade is fast approaching as well, so we will be both broadcasting that and we will have a TUA float in that parade as well. And that is it for me for today.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
I'll be kind of brief on the electric department side. Continuing our betterment program, we replaced 15 to 20 new poles. We've also connected roughly 15 new services just within the last 3 weeks. Crews have also had some time to address some yard cleanups from previous jobs. Subdivision wise, the Pines crews have completed all the conduit installation, and we are currently waiting on a developer to start the gravel and the paving project. He doesn't want he doesn't want us to access the property all until there's some gravel and pavement on there, just for mud and messing up their roadway. Sagewood, the electric and the fiber design is complete. Transformers and other materials have been ordered, and we're just waiting on that to be released. Our Anvil system, all the electric crew members are using the software alongside of still using the paper tickets. Barring any major issues, we should be fully swapped over to the digital platform sometime next month. We also started this week substation maintenance. We started with the south, and it was completed today, and it is back in normal operation, and they moved over to Spring Creek. So we'll do the same type of testing there before we move to the north. Fiber department wise, light tube was a +18 for October, which was a good month. Didn't look back at my notes, but we turned up a new DIA, internet circuit with Aurelian last month, and we've been testing that, and what we've actually done is we have turned down our AT&T circuits and our Cogent circuit, and we have been riding strictly on Aurelian and United Telephone. So that's been going really well. It's a lot of backhaul, so we are gauged for the future. Speaking of bandwidth, our peak bandwidth last Thursday hit an all-time high. It hit 21 gig, so it's growing, and it's growing pretty fast. Recommendations, we did have a couple of employees attend the TM EPA conference, and that was Kyle Riddle and Andy Warren and myself. Lee Denny also completed phase 4 of the advanced lineman program. He has one phase left to finish that. We also did receive several customer compliments on fiber employees. They all do a great job, but specifically Wesley Kilgore, Patrick Alcorta, and Jason Jones were mentioned on going above and beyond at a house, and the professionalism and the mannerisms that they presented it in the house. I personally want to thank really the entire TUA group. We have done a lot of work in the building over the last couple of weeks, and the pool of talent and skills of our employees, it's just, the effort's been top notch, so I really appreciate all of them.
Great.
That's what I have.
Thank you.
Hi, for the administration department, We are getting back into the normal swing of things for accounting. We've got our audit entries made. We've, you can see September's financials are in there, and we've actually started working on closing October out. So we're back in normal process for us. We're working with engineering with our AMI conversion for electric. So we're working with Census and our local government software and our departments to try to make sure that we're prepared for that. And that's going along pretty well, and we've got some meetings scheduled this week to kind of go a little one step further with it. The NISC conversion, we're still working with that. We're developing a training curriculum and procedures for our accounting and warehouse departments. So they'll have like a transcript of what they need to process and the self-paced learning so that they stay up to date on everything. Employee uniforms, I'm sure that y'all have saw those. They've been a huge hit, and we're still working with Perfect Fit to get some of the minor changes we wanted, minor hiccups that we've had. We're trying to get all those straightened out, but I wanted to give Tim Howell, our warehouse supervisor, a shout out for doing a really good job on that, and everything so far looks great. So, any questions for me?
Thank you. Mr. Scott.
All right, my turn.
The water guru and wastewater guru.
All right. Well, our sewer project, force main project, has been still going on. Again, this is extending a 12-inch sewer force main all the way from like behind the baseball field all the way over to the intersection of Riley Creek and Avoca. So it's going well. We're doing all the inspections on it. We had a little hiccup Friday where the contractor was boring under fairways there and hit a water line. And we had guys out pretty much all night long getting that fixed. So these bores are very, very difficult. We're having to bore an 18-inch hole under all these roads, and there's so many utilities there. It's amazing. That's the first thing we've hit, or they've hit. But other than that, it's going real well. Oh, and also just up the street from there, where the city is doing that major drainage work, we had to lower a water line. We originally thought we were going to lower a sewer line too, but we worked around that. But the city had the contractors love change orders, as you know. And so they got a quote from their contractor for this project, which was just astronomical, and they said it was going to take 5 days. Well, our guys, we pre-made up all the pipe here on our site here, pre-dug out there just to get things ready, went out there and actually did it in 2.5 hours. So that worked out really well. And we actually would rather do that, be honest with you, because it affected customers. We had to have customers out of service for a period of time, and if we can do those projects, I think it's better for everybody. Over at the new Ferris School, we had an issue over there with fire protection. Just weren't getting the fire flows we needed. So we came up, and my guys came up with this. We came up with a little short extension we did, and drastically improved the fire protection over there. Made everybody happy. And also did a similar project over in the Golf Club Lane area, where we again were having just insufficient fire flows at the hydrants there. So we ran a little extension over from Jackson Circle over there, kind of paralleled the sewer force main project, so it was already dug up, so that helped a lot. Our Stillwater subdivision out Wilson Avenue, the pump station has been completed as an operation, and they're building houses out there if you go by there. They got several started. In the Pine subdivision, there's 2 pump stations there that are currently being installed. At the wastewater plant, I don't know if y'all remember back in December or January earlier this year, we purchased a new grit chamber equipment, knowing that it would take months to get, and sure enough it did. It took months to get, but we got it installed, and the manufacturer's rep is coming tomorrow to do the startup on that. So again, we did all that work in-house. And one other thing, we purchased all new AED devices. Our AEDs, the defibrillators, which Mr. Noah's here is very familiar with, had gone out of date. and they actually weren't supporting them anymore. So we purchased them. We have one here in the customer service area, have one at the wastewater plant. Our line trucks all have one, and I think the standby supervisor's truck has one. We haven't changed them all out yet, but we got those in, and we actually did training on those last week. Had all our employees present for that.
Good deal.
Wow, Scott.
Been busy.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll say.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Great.
We'll push on to comments. We'll start with our board members. Mr. Stanton, tell me what you got going on.
I think the ladies on the TV mentioned the TUA light up. The season is going to be underway here soon, and we'll encourage folks in the community to put those holiday light displays out and see if you can win something. So many of you, Emma Cook, Shannon Hamlin. I was going to forget these, but I've been Brian Langham, Kyle Riddle, Andy Warren. This has already been mentioned, but I think it's worth mentioning again. And our president, Mr. Potter, have all attended conferences trying to improve their skills, improve their knowledge, and we appreciate them going the extra mile. I attended the Arnold Community Council last Friday, and it was very good. And Chairman, that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Stanton. Mr. Northcott.
Yes, sir. Echo Mr. Stanton on the training. For the board members, for all the employees, continued training, education is very important. So that we can all keep our skills updated, our knowledge at a peak. And so I do again appreciate this organization for making training available for all employees. And it's what will keep us ahead of the game. So I'd like to mention that, we in your email, we all get the TMEPA bulletins. If you haven't been taking the time to read those, it probably you should. There's some gold nuggets in there every once in a while, and things that's good for board members, good for supervisors. So if you just take the time, doesn't take too long to read them, but there's some good information in there. So just a reminder. And last but not least, I hope everyone here has a safe, first of all, safe and enjoyable Thanksgiving with your family and friends. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Northcott. Mrs. Dean.
I want to echo Mr. Stanton's congratulations to all the people that have been attending meetings and just increasing their knowledge and to it's so important to the support of this organization. And I just am so amazed that the innovative solutions that you put out of, it's going to take 5 days, but we did it in a couple of hours because we really took the initiative, the innovation, we figured out, we had a problem, we solved it. That is just amazing. That is just really amazing, and such a service to the community that it's really, hopefully everybody appreciates that. So one thing, in December, the Duck River Symposium is going to take place, and I know that board members have been invited, so I'm going to be going to that, and I look forward to that because of our connection with the water systems in Normandy Lake and the Duck River system, so it's an important part of what we need to keep track of. Other than that, just everybody have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Mr. Tillman.
I'll be brief, but I wanted to state that during the board meeting, I brought up the excellent service our linemen did in Elizabethton. I think that's a great service and interrelationship with the communities, and I think it's also good ambassador. So, again, commend. Other than that, I hope everybody too has a great Thanksgiving.
Thank you very much. I don't have a whole bunch more to add to what my 5 board members have already said, I'll second the pat on the back of many of our employees that go on to continue in education and try to better themselves and make this utility better. We always encourage that. As long as I've been on there, been on the board, we've really pushed that. I'd like to give kudos to Light 2 plus 18. That brings us to 4748. I've known this number in the past. What was our number to where we were probably?
3,500.
3,500. So we're quite a bit more than that, 1,200 more. I'd like to see us get to 5,000, in the next 3 or 4 years maybe. I think we could do it. Because we have the best product in the area. So, go Light 2, go. We have Thanksgiving come up. Y'all be careful. There'll be a lot of people. I saw on the news, I think there'll be more people traveling by car this time than in forever. Gas is cheaper. So, if you go out, be careful, be patient. If you have to go through Chattanooga, you're going to have to wait. Nashville, maybe not as much.
When you're feeling it.
But be safe. Don't eat too much. I know you will. I will too. You stretch your stomach out. That's part of the next 6 weeks. And I'm sorry if you're diabetic, because it'll be hard. It's a hard time to eat properly. So that's all I have. We'll turn it over to our president for final comments.
Speaking of Light 2, we've always been able to stay one step ahead of our competition. When we put our electric conduits in, we're going ahead and putting fiber conduits in, which allows us easy access to the neighborhoods. Well, some of the competition is now getting in these neighborhoods earlier. So kudos to Brian Langham. He come up with another idea today, and I can't announce it. I don't want to give our trade secrets away. But we have figured out a way to stay one step ahead, so we're excited about that. And I believe we will get to 5,000 within 2 or 3 years, especially with the growth that the city is seeing. We're already 50% penetrated. We have 11,000 electric customers, but some of those are charter amplifiers, some of our services. So we really have more than 50% of our potential customers. So excited about that. There's been a lot of talk about the electric crews. They're always ready to serve. They're knocking on my door saying, hey, who needs us? And but also when we have storms here at home, our the wastewater crews, the meter department, really everyone that works here steps it up and comes in and helps our electric crews when in need. So thankful for our entire team for that. He mentioned the clothing, and that's a tremendous amount of work off of Tim. The old way we did clothing is he has a spreadsheet with every employee, and every employee basically gets to choose different clothing because of the jobs they do. So that's a lot of work off of him now. They get online and choose the clothing they want. So we're excited about that. The NISC and the AMI projects are, our top 2 projects right now, and it's a tremendous amount of work to tackle one of these projects. But to do them both simultaneously is a lot of work, but we have the team ready to do it. Thank you to this board for holding me accountable in my review. I love the feedback. Accountability is not a bad word. If you don't hold people accountable, you're doing them a disservice. Thank you to the board for the strategic plan. I didn't realize the importance of it last year when we went through this because I was over here. But if not for the strategic plan, my job probably would not have been as good these first 6 months. So thank you to the board for a clear vision and a mission on that. And lastly, thank you to this team in here for what they've done in such a short amount of time in these past 6 months. It's really been phenomenal. So I'm thankful for them.
I think we've done a good job. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I skipped over customer comments.
No, sir.
Did we have any submitted online, anything? Nothing online?
One last thing.
Yes, sir.
Mayor Noah's was a part of the strategic plan, so thank you too.
I have one quick question. You were talking about we were up to 21 gig, right?
Peak usage,
Peak usage, what's our max? What can we go up to?
140.
Now we can go to 80.
80?
Well, 140.
There's-
You got 100.
Yes, my apologies, yes.
So-
We have a fully
Yeah.
burstable 100 gig circuit.
So we
Actually,
have enough for the next 20 years.
long time.
40 maybe.
And we have unlimited IP addresses, so we're good to go.
Okay, as long as we,
You're right.
we encourage growth, you know, here, but I want us to be prepared for that growth. So it sounds like we are. Anybody have anything else before I gavel this meeting closed? Can I have a motion to close the meeting?
Do you need one?
I don't need
Oh, well, I
one.
make a motion, we close this meeting.
I'll second. All in favor, say aye. Meeting is adjourned.